you doing?
I'm just trying to understand how you can see Zach's mess so clearly, but when it comes to us, you're just so unsure and confused and
Okay, all right.
dumbfounded
All right,
every
I'll
time.
give you that. I am sometimes, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, look, I know I usually read into things a bit too much, but I feel like this particular scene, it's kind of out there for everybody to just notice and pay attention to. And I'm talking about the date, the dinner date between Danni and Preston. Now, I said this in my episode review and, the Twitter space and live stream that this was one of those episodes and episodes like this where it just feels like things are kind of stretched out and some of the characters, like their worst character personality traits, are on full display. And when you go to the date between Danni and Preston, I'm sorry, but I wasn't really feeling the scene. Now, it was good to see these two out on the town for a change as opposed to really only being restricted to Danny's apartment. But if this was a first date, like let's see me and a girl, agree to start dating officially, and our first date, and we're doing nothing but talking about another couple's issues in conjunction with my date bringing up my past mistakes. I don't feel like that's a solid way of starting our new dating relationship. I mean, Preston just simply asked, hey, you barely touch your food and, you're quiet. Danni, is everything okay? And Danni mentions, like, oh, this Karen stuff. And, to be honest, I still say that Danni shouldn't have even bothered going over to Karen's place. She should have just focused on, going on her date. It's like, look, as long as Karen is okay, as long as she isn't hurt or anything, because granted, the day before this, we thought she was dead. I'm not going over there. I'm going to enjoy this date with my new man, and, that's it. You just let me know what happened later. So he just asked, hey, what's wrong? And then she brings up the Karen stuff, and then, he talks about the Zach situation and how, he ignored and, in a way disrespected his fiance, Fatima, at the salon. And then, of course, Danni, in true Danni fashion, decided to try to call Preston out on his bull crap, if you will. Like, oh, wow. So it's funny how you notice the things he was doing wrong, but you don't notice yours. And I'm thinking to myself, of all people, Danni, you want to talk about somebody not wanting to reflect on their own flaws. And the worst part about it is, Preston, unlike so many characters in the show, has shown that he's willing to do better, and he has tried to do better. Is he perfect? No. But he has tried to improve on certain things. But how can you look forward to a new relationship with someone if they're constantly going to bring back, or, throw the past in your face? And in a lot of ways, it felt like Danni was behaving like Karen in terms of, oh, wow, okay, well, let me just remind you of everything you've done wrong. I'm never going to mention all of my, mistakes and take accountability for it. It's like in our relationship, you're the one who's always messing up, poking fun at Preston for being confused and, not sure about things and trying to make her jealous. And I'm thinking, I feel like Danni was describing herself more than she was describing Preston. I mean, who was the one who said, move in with me, but then didn't even know how to tell him, like, yeah, I'm just tired of you always being around, and I don't know what I want, Preston. Sometimes I want you, other times I don't want you, and I just want to date around. Sometimes I want to be alone. And I'm thinking to myself, Danni, do you even hear yourself right now? I mean, part of me thinks that maybe she just had too much wine. I mean, she wasn't eating, but she was definitely drinking. But I'm just thinking to myself, Danni, just, are we not going to talk about the near half dozen men you had running through your apartment and running through you, and the times that you interrupted Preston on his dates with other women? But yet, oh, he's the one who's unsure. He's the one that's confused, and he's the one who needs to, reflect on what he's done wrong. And I'm thinking, again, Danni, you really don't have much ground to stand on in terms of that. And hopefully this was not a reflection as to what's to come for their relationship, but I honestly don't see Danni and Preston lasting a long time if she's going to act like this. Like I said, don't tell me that, we're going to start fresh and we're going to forget about the past, and then you just constantly bring up the past because you want, you just feel like you want to. And best believe, if Preston would have mentioned any of the guys that Danni had been with in the past, she would have caught an attitude and that dinner would have been over quick, fast, in a hurry. But here she goes. She can run her mouth as much as she pleases, and Preston is just expected to sit there and take it. So, yeah, personally, I don't think these two are going to last too much longer. Hell, in the next episode in the promo, you got Danni and Preston in bed. She's trying to get him to take a hit of his pen, her pen, and he doesn't want. He's like, no, I don't want to know. I don't even know what that stuff will do to me. And in the promo, or in the synopsis, it mentions that Danni realizes that she made a big mistake with Preston. So what if he does wind up taking a hit of it, and maybe he decides to unknowingly or involuntarily run his mouth, and as a result he might say something that Danni goes, uh-oh, and then that might lead to these two having shaky, ground for the next few episodes. But with that being said, do you think Destin's going to make it? Like I said, I just didn't care for the way that Danni went in on Preston during the dinner, because I'm just like, again, you really are the last person to try to talk to somebody about calling somebody out. I mean, what about when the girls went over to your place at the ending of last season to rightfully not even call you out, but address you in love about how you are making reckless decisions? But you wanted to call all the other girls out on what they've done wrong, but you don't want to, face your own mistakes and whatnot and your messy behavior. So with that being said, like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.